Hi, colleagues. Welcome to my office. I thought it would be a great idea this week if I just, instead of sending you my normal message, if I sent you a video message, because these are not normal times. We've all started talking about it here as we are now in the new normal, and we're going to be for some time. It's a time when we've had to change what we do here at DHS, the way we work, but we haven't changed how important the work is that we do. In fact, I think it's hit all of us more and more in the last few weeks that the work we do, we've always talked about how people's lives depend on it. It's become very real. What we're doing really does matter, and it really does make a difference in whether people eat, in whether they have health care, and in our facilities, it makes a difference in terms of their actual lives. So I know all of you who are coming in every day and who are working hard from home when you have to. I've heard of a number of you talking about you get up in the morning, roll out of bed, grab a cup of coffee, and you get right out there, right on the phone, and you start to work. And you work 9 hours straight, 10 hours straight, whatever it takes. I can't say thank you enough, because at this time, stepping up and taking care of people is really what we have to do. People talk about heroes. Heroes, nobody is a hero in day-to-day life. All the heroes we have in our lives are people who come from those moments when there's a crisis and they step up. And I'm really proud to be part of an organization made up of heroes right now. And I hope you see yourselves that way, because that's what you are. You are a hero to others here who need you and need you right now. So recognize that as we go through the next few weeks. As hard as it's been, it's going to get harder. I stay in close touch with my colleagues at the other agencies, and you all see in the newspapers what's going on, the unemployment claims. 30,000 of them last week here in Arkansas, 6.6 million in America. Those 30,000 claims, behind them are all families. That's coming towards us, and I know DCO is getting ready. I know other parts of this organization, we're going to be reaching out to you and asking you to also step in. We're sitting here thinking through, when times get really bad, what are the most essential services we have to offer at this agency? And we're going to make sure we're able to do that. And that means that for some of you, we will probably ask you to take on different roles for the next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, so that we can make sure that we are able to do what we need to do at the facilities, at the human development centers, at our nursing home, and at the state psychiatric hospital, and in our county offices, where we put people into Medicaid so they can have health care in the middle of a global pandemic, where we make sure that they have food to eat by giving them SNAP. We are going to be focused on taking care of the most critical business of this agency. And I just want to say thank you in advance to all of you who will make the shifts needed, who will step it up, who will be heroes at this time when we all need to dig inside and find a way to do more and more and more. We will get through this. I think we all know that. We'll come out stronger at the other side, but it is about getting through the next few weeks. And I can promise you, I will be here. The rest of my team, we're all here. We are focused 100% on keeping this agency together and making sure you're all safe and you're able to get the job done, and that we're able to take care of the people of Arkansas and help them through this difficult time. I want to take a second and talk about some of the amazing things I'm seeing happen here. One of my favorite stories, one of my favorite things that's happened is we realized shortly after we began to see that the spread of coronavirus in the United States, we had some meetings and talked about, well, where are our most vulnerable citizens, and how do we know that they're going to be okay? And obviously, a lot of the people we thought about are in nursing homes or other types of facilities, and there's an entire structure set up to look after them, and there's also, they're in a place where someone is watching over them every day. But we started thinking about those people, those 15,000 Arkansans that are on our programs, our choices and personal care, where there's someone who comes in every day to provide really valuable services to them. Many of these people can't walk by themselves. They need assistance every day to make sure that they can eat, to make sure that they can just take care of the basic toiletries of life. And if no one were to show up because perhaps their caregiver got quarantined, or their caregiver got sick, or their caregiver had to take care of a family member, then there they would be. So I got to give a shout out to a number of our employees from DMS, from DABA, from DDS, with help from IT and other areas, who got together and decided to create a way to call out and check on people. So we have almost 200 of our employees who are calling twice a week to check on these folks. And it's been going for a week now. People, from what I'm told, the people receiving the calls are just delighted. They're surprised and they're really pleased that someone's checking on them. One of my favorite stories, though, that came out of this was they called one woman who said that her electricity had been cut off, and she's on oxygen, and so her oxygen wasn't working. And so the person who called immediately up to Jay Hill, who called over and got the nurse in that region to go out and check on her. And she got there and found out, yes, indeed, it turns out that the person didn't have electricity. So they they talked to a neighbor helped out. They also figured out how to get some electricity started so they get the oxygen running, and they got a hold of the electric company and got the electricity turned back on. In this woman's case, that saved her life because we made a phone call to check on somebody during a time when one of our clients might be in trouble. So everybody's continuing to do that, and I want to thank all of you who are involved in that effort. And as we keep moving into more and more areas where we have to supplement services, some of you may be called on to help make those calls. I hope you'll realize how important they are, because as we often say, there's a life at the other end of everything that we do. And I can't not talk for a moment about what's going on at our human development centers, at our nursing home, and at the State Psychiatric Hospital at ASH and AHC. All of you are truly, truly amazing human beings. I thank you for getting up every day and going to those centers, for caring about the residents whose lives are in our hands. I know you've all been learning new procedures. You've all been learning how to deal in case of a COVID-19 case. You've been learning how to do isolation procedures. You've been learning how to take care of people in a pandemic. The love you show those residents, the care you show them, it means everything. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Know that we are here. We will do everything we can to support you. And please realize at this time, there's really nothing more important you can be doing than to do this work. So thank you so much. What we must also do is to remember that our job is to keep people safe, not just in facilities, but keep people safe in their homes. And the role that you play at DCFS and our APS investigators and our APS caseworkers. Your work in this time is amazingly critical. Will you always show enormous courage in the work you do? At this time, the courage you're showing to continue to care about those children and to care about those adults who may have been the victim of human trafficking, or those adults who may right now be suffering because they're not quite sure where they are, what's going on. The care that you give to now still make sure that they are safe. You're truly an amazing group.